Ion looked out the bus window, the city lights blurring through a thin sheet of rain. In his lap was the 5th rejection letter in 3 months. The company's words were polite, rehearsed. "We appreciate your interest, but have decided to move forward with another candidate." He folded the letter and tucked it into the envelope like the others. There was no point showing it to his parents again. They had stopped reacting. No more scoldings, no advice, just silence. He stepped off the bus and walked the narrow lane to his home. The sky above Karachi had turned a shade darker. Home used to feel like a place of rest. It felt like a room filled with judgmental shadows. Chapter 2. The silence at home dinner was quiet. His father read the newspaper. His mother sipped her tea. His younger sister, Haya, looked at him, concerned, but didn't speak. Ion could barely touch the food. After dinner, he went into his room and sat at the edge of his bed. He took out all the rejection letters, printed, emailed, some handwritten. It was like a graveyard of dreams. What more do they want? He whispered, "A perfect resume. I have that. Skills. I worked hard. Why then, ... Why not me?" His phone buzzed. A text from an old college friend. "Just got a promotion. Finally, leading my own team." He didn't reply. Chapter 3. The breaking point. 2 days later, Ion's bank account showed a balance of 923 rupees. No savings, no job. He had stopped asking friends for help. He walked out that evening and kept walking without knowing where he was going. Thoughts clouded his mind. What's the point? They were right. I was always just average. I don't belong here. He stopped at the edge of a flyover bridge, looking down at the blurred traffic below. His heart beat faster, not from fear, but from the dangerous calm of giving up. Just then, his phone buzzed. A message from Haya. "Bye. If you give up now, who will I look up to?" Chapter 4. The mirror moment. That message was like a slap, soft but heavy. He stepped back from the railing. The sky opened up with rain. He stood there, soaked, alive, shaken. That night, back in his room, he locked the door and stood in front of the mirror. His eyes were red, his beard unshaved. He didn't recognize the man staring back. He whispered, "This can't be the end of me." He took a pen and notebook. For the first time in months, he wrote, not a resume, not a cover letter, but his story, his failures, his efforts, his lessons, everything. It was raw, it was honest, and it was his. Chapter 5. The one job. The next day, Ion searched for jobs again. This time, not with desperation, but with clarity. He found a listing for a local tech startup seeking a product manager. He didn't just apply. He wrote them a letter sharing his journey, his mistakes, and how they shaped his mindset. He attached it to his resume and sent the email with this subject: a man who failed 5 times but never stopped learning. Then he waited. Chapter 6. The call. 3 days later, Ayan received a call. Is this Ayan Ahmed? Yes, speaking. This is Sana from Fusion Tech. We read your email, and honestly, it moved us. Could you come in tomorrow for a meeting? It wasn't a job offer. It wasn't even a formal interview, but it was a door opening. And this time, he was ready to walk in. Chapter 7. The interview that wasn't Fusion Tech's office was modern but modest. Ayan sat across from a panel of 3 people. We've had candidates with degrees from abroad, one said. But your email stood out. They didn't ask typical questions. They asked him about his failures, his growth, his mindset. And Ayan, for the first time, spoke freely, not trying to impress, but to connect. When it was over, the CEO, Mr. Rahim, shook his hand. We want to give you a 3-month project, not a job yet. But prove yourself, and we'll talk again. Ayan accepted without hesitation. Chapter 8. Fire in the belly. The project was tough. He worked 10-hour days, studied at night, watched tutorials, called old classmates for help. But this time, he wasn't chasing approval. He was becoming better. Every mistake became a lesson. Every doubt became fuel. And when the project ended, Fusion Tech didn't just offer him a job. They offered him a position as junior project lead. Ayan had climbed the ladder, not because someone pulled him up, but because he refused to stop climbing. Chapter 9. Rise of a mentor. Over the next year, Ayan rose steadily. He hired his own small team. When fresh graduates came in feeling lost, he mentored them. He never forgot the night on the bridge. He created a blog titled The Last Step Forward, sharing weekly stories of people who made it by refusing to quit. His story became hope for thousands. Chapter 10. Full circle. One afternoon, Ayan visited his old university to give a talk. On stage, he looked at the students and smiled. I wasn't the best student. I wasn't the smartest. I was the guy who got rejected over and over. But I'm standing here today because I took one more step when everything told me to stop. The crowd stood in applause. He ended with the words that saved him. If you give up now, who will your younger self look up to? Moral of the story: success isn't reserved for the perfect. It's earned by those who keep walking despite the wounds. You never know. Your next step might be the one that changes everything. Asterisk. Part 2. Beyond the edge. Asterisk. A new Preshurian had everything he once dreamed of: a stable job, a growing team, and respect in the workplace. Yet, success didn't bring peace. It brought pressure. Deadlines tightened. Responsibilities increased. People looked to him for answers, and there were days he had none. In moments of solitude, he whispered, "What if I'm not enough for this either?" That old voice, the one that said he wasn't good enough, had returned. But this time, he wore a new mask. Imposter syndrome. Chapter 2. The mentor becomes the student fusion tech sent Ion to lead a new project in Lahore, a critical expansion. It was his biggest opportunity and biggest risk. The new environment was tougher. The team wasn't as enthusiastic. Delays, arguments, and technical setbacks piled up. One evening, frustrated, Ion called his old mentor, Mr. Rahim. "I feel like I don't know what I'm doing anymore," he admitted. Rahim replied calmly, "That means you're growing. Growth never feels comfortable. The moment you think you've figured it all out, that's when you stop growing." Ion took a breath. He needed to become a learner again. Chapter 3. The Midnight Breakdown. 3 weeks into the new project, Ion was working past midnight. His laptop crashed. Reports were gone. He threw his notebook across the room. He sat on the floor, head in his hands, overwhelmed. That's when he received a comment on his blog. The last step forward. "Sir, I read your story during my depression. I didn't end my life because of your words. Thank you for giving me hope." Ion froze. How could he fall apart when someone else was holding on because of him? He stood up, took a breath, restarted his system. Chapter 4. Leading with Hartha. Next day, Ion called his team together. "I know this isn't easy," he began. "And I know I've been acting like I have all the answers. Truth is, I don't. But I believe in this team. And if we move forward, even one step at a time, we'll make it." Silence, then applause. Something changed that day. Team worked together, not because they were ordered to, but because they believed. They finished the project on time, and it exceeded expectations. Chapter 5. Bigger than me. Months passed. Ion's story reached a national podcast. His blog grew into a platform. Schools invited him. People messaged from across the country. But Ion stayed humble. He would say, "I'm not a hero. I'm just someone who didn't stop walking." One day, Haya, his sister, said, "You gave the world hope. But don't forget to give yourself rest too." Those words hit him. He had become a light for others, but was burning himself out in the process. Chapter 6. The retriation took a week off. No emails, no posts. Just him, a mountain lodge, and his journal. There, he realized something powerful. Success isn't the opposite of failure. It's built on it. And peace isn't earned. It's chosen. He came back refreshed, Sharper, balanced, he restructured his life. Work with purpose. Rest with discipline. Asterisk, Chapter 7. Building Bridge Sign launched. The Last Step Foundation, a mentorship and support network for youth facing failure, unemployment, and mental health struggles. Every week, he spoke to young dreamers, students, job seekers, creators. He told them, "You don't need a miracle. You need momentum. One step, just one, and then another." Chapter 8. The test repeats years later. A close friend of Ion's took his own life after losing a business. It broke Ion. For weeks, he didn't write or speak. He blamed himself. Could I have helped? Should I have seen the signs? Then he remembered what Mr. Rahim once told him. You can't save everyone, but you can still keep saving someone. He got up, wrote a blog post titled, "When I Couldn't Save Him." It went viral. Thousands shared their stories. And Ion, once again, stepped forward. Chapter 9. Returned to the bridge on the 5th anniversary of his turning point. Ion returned to that bridge, the same one where he almost gave up. He stood silently, now successful, respected, changed. He whispered to the wind, "Thank you for not letting me fall. Thank you for one more step." He left behind a small wooden sign, nailed quietly to the railing. It read, "You're closer than you think." Chapter 10. The legacy of a Stipian's story became part of classrooms, company trainings, and even therapy sessions. His blog had over 5 million readers, but more than fame. He cherished the messages that came late at night. I didn't give up today because of you. Grow, rise, lift others,